There is a reset happening, and it is being advertised as something to fear. And it's no wonder why many feel this way. If we pay attention to the unfolding events and agendas in this world, we see a deteriorating society and culture. But if we pay attention to the unfoldment that is occurring from within, we see not deterioration, but a call to elevate. Although it can seem paradoxical and confusing, what is occurring is the perfect recipe for awakening. When we speak of the physical world and its happenings, we must know first and foremost that it is all manifested from an unseen world. Even in our own lives, all moments have originated first as intangible energy in the unseen, becoming the seen. Spirit and matter are endlessly connected. And in this ascensional process, this awakening, there is no exception. Spirit uses matter as a vessel for cleansing. We incarnated in these avatars in order to cleanse ourselves and thus cleanse spirit. It is a joint process with no hierarchies involved. What a time of great change and dramatic transformation we are in. It may seem a bit difficult, but the ultimate result of this transformation is liberation. We are being called to restore our own sense and feelings of truth, health, beauty, strength, connection, peace, sovereignty, and freedom. In order to achieve this restoration, it has been necessary to pull the rug from under our feet, to test us using hard experiences to synchronistically guide us back into the actuality of our being. This deterioration of society and culture is not a mistake in the eyes of the divine, but pure perfection. It is crucial to go through this shift so our own potential can be awakened. We must let go of the attachment and fear and anxiety that lead to the reality we see before us. The harsh reality we have been witnessing dwindles in importance the more we place importance on the beautiful reality within that cannot dwindle, but can only expand as long as we are giving it permission. The collective turmoil being experienced is increasing alongside the shedding of falsehood that we have all known and experimented with. Examples of the false would be false personas and personalities, states of perception and perspective rooted in lack, judgment of self and others as being evil, a hurried, anxious, unsafe sense of being. All of this is false. How we interact with each other, what is deemed correct and incorrect, this is all false. Forgetfulness leads to all suffering. To remember, it takes truly intending to remember, penetrating down to the core of one's being to uncover energies previously hidden. These energies can only come forth when we are ready to confront the deeper truths within. The fear-based programs which circulate in this matrix are representative of our own inner fears. Our fears come to the surface, come to life for purging and thus releasing the further the reset of this realm progresses. It is perfect. It may not be pleasant in all moments, but it is perfect. Trusting in the direction of creation is only possible if we are trusting in our own creativity. Self-doubt has infested our psyches, causing a further forgetfulness of our inherent creative gift of creation. of manifestation. This gift is the power of gods and goddesses beyond mere mortal perception, and this gift opens itself in the present moment only. The present of the present moment can only be opened if we are harmonizing with the moment. And that may sound too simple, but it is truly what is simple that is most freeing, most truthful. And perhaps to get to this simplicity, it is required that we slow things down. Slowing things down leads to clarity, slowing down our own consciousness, not in vitality, but in processing, leads to clarity. The constant stimulation that this world offers us can overburden our attention, and our attention is so important. It is our currency. We currently see the reality that our attention places focus on. This simple truth can only be known as much as it is practiced and felt. Slowing everything down in meditation, in reflection, taking routine stock of the true self and its needs is a great way to align with what truly matters. Another truth that is revealing itself is that there is no destination. This may seem like a contradiction when it comes to ascension, but arriving back to our spiritual homeland requires that we know ourselves to always be there. The heart space is aurora light inside, which connects back home to Hyperborea. This is a land of play and fun and peace and sacredness and wellness. Those realities exist inside of us right now, in this present moment. To access Hyperborea requires accessing it right now, without the need for an external or future result, without the attachment to a future event. The event is occurring right this moment, and there is only ever one moment, constantly shifting and changing. Synchronicity replaces time as we shift more and more into our true state of being. So let us follow synchronicity. As living souls, we only ever experience realities and constructs to heighten our awareness of the all, to go deeper into the magic of the all, and to strengthen the universe with more true love. It should be clear by now that we are not simply in a mundane, mechanistic world. The stories and theories and postulates about the past and about our origins are untrue. We are not bound by lineage or race or models of social structure or culture. We reside outside of space and time, truly outside of anything tainted, in perfected bodies, in perfected consciousness. The more we remember this, the closer we get to this truth and to this reality. Earth being a purgatory to facilitate this elevation allows us to undergo this shift while being grounded in physical reality. Our bodies are antennas for the soul. I am not speaking any of these words to ignore the fact that there have been tangles that need untangling. This is a process of merging all dualities inside of us, and it can feel messy. The wars waged outside of us are reflected to remind us of the war inside, that can be won. But this war can only be won through calling a truce and letting the light and dark merge. The masks that the soulless consciousness wears is a reminder of the masks we have all been wearing throughout this journey. We may feel a crossroads right now. Are we going to keep on the mask because it makes others feel better, because it's the more compliant thing to do? Or is it time that we shed all illusions and delusions, inflicted and self-made, seeking only what is immortal and nurturing? It is very commendable to know yourself in a world that wishes to tell you that you are but a cog in a machine. Truly harmonizing with the breath, body, mind, and soul, actually acknowledging what heals, allows us to connect with what is both seen and unseen in a way that all moments expand rather than contract. We must truly implement energetic coherence in ourselves to achieve the Christ-like divine consciousness, which we know to exist and which many texts tells us is reserved for the enlightened. Coherence is the state of forming a unified whole. The opposite of this state would be brokenness or separation from the true self. When we are coherent in vibration, in thought, word, action, and in presence, we solidify an energy that is controlled and clear in itself. This energy extraction matrix we've been in displays an uncontrolled, confused, murky energy which hides itself in front of a controlled and clear persona. We are greater than this brokenness, and we do not need to emulate it. In fact, we can use the reflections in the outer as reasons, as inspiration to fully be coherent. Therefore, it's wise to maintain the intention of unifying everything that you are, so nothing is uncontrolled, confused, and murky. Spirituality, for the most part, has been based on the worship of externalized forces of divinity. However, the beckoning light of the Hyperborean Golden Age eradicates this paradigm, replacing it with an eternal knowing that more expansive states of consciousness may only reveal themselves when the uncontrolled waters of ourselves still. And yet, without action, no expansion can occur. But the question is, what action should one take? This question can only be answered through the intuition. Anytime we follow the actions stemming from our mind's reactivity or delusion, we end up in a reality worse in quality than we intended. This is why it is so crucial to understand our own reasons for doing what we do. We must be aware of cause and effect. This is called being mindful. Mindfulness speaks to simplicity. Only when we can accept that at the core, our desires and reasons for everything are really simple. Only then can we enter true mindfulness, mindful awareness. If we are addicted to the complexity, then we can never find true mindfulness, true awareness. Our desires are very simple at the core. We desire love, to be loved, to experience love. We desire relaxation, exploration. We desire vitality, vibrance, and a sense of fun. We desire to go home to the heart space. We desire true connection. We desire actions that lead to further healing and rejuvenation. Buddhists say that desire is the root of all suffering. This is absolutely true when it comes to the worldly, to carnal desire and obsession. It is true when it comes to a specific desired outcome. When we desire what is temporary, we suffer. When we desire what cannot be had, we suffer. When we desire what is false and illusory, we suffer. What I am speaking of is a desire to merge with creation through remembrance that love is all there truly is. The desire to love and to be loved, therefore, cannot create suffering when the desire is paired with a presence which speaks to our eternal nature. Being in a veil of illusion requires discernment for the being who does not want to get lost in the sauce of this reality. This veil of illusion tempts us, haunts us, confronts us, and inspires us for the sake of remembrance. The veil pushes us to be the greatest versions of ourselves through displaying the many inversions of ourselves. When we see a sick reality, we may choose health and wellness outside of the bounds of illusion, which makes us ill. When we see a world of anxiety, we may choose ease. The choice always exists, but if we allow ourselves to absorb the world's false images and narratives, we may think there is no choice but fear and misery. Beyond fear and misery, beyond good and evil, there is a wellspring of warmth, a center point. This is the heart space, the unity that resides within, expressing itself without, under the guise of separation. We oppose ourselves and the world so much because we think we have to. We have rarely given ourselves permission to just let paradise synchronistically weave itself together. So let us give ourselves this sacred permission. We can. It's possible. We may think there is no other choice but to oppose and resist a world that seems to want to hurt us. Discernment leads to knowing what is and what isn't. So only with discernment can we realize all opposition is rooted in forgetfulness. The harsh teacher of purgatory is not harsh for the sake of just being harsh. All that is occurring individually and collectively is necessary. It's how Sophia is processing herself. It's how we refine ourselves. It's how the universal mind further refines itself. The strange, sometimes terrifying events occurring on Earth are meant to let all of this be known to the living souls. If all of this isn't readily apparent, I implore you to look within and really let yourself open up to what is true. On one hand, our true selves are already immovably perfect. On the other hand, we must remember our true selves to move into that immovable perfection. When we do not remember or choose to forget, we suffer. The topic of ascension is often paired with concepts of aliens and light beings and greater dimensions. And while these concepts could be inspiring, there is no need to acknowledge or believe in any of this. it all boils down to consciousness, to the state of being. Am I elevating and deepening in my understanding of self? Am I living inspired? Am I living unified in myself? Do I trust creation? Do I know who I am and how I operate? Ascension means yes to these questions. A living soul is a child deep down who just wishes to play. We have been playing the game of duality, and now we wish to play a different game. The phrase inner child may evoke the judgment of immaturity, but what I am pointing to is innocence. Innocence is a state achieved only when all components of ourselves are clear to ourselves. When nothing is hidden in the shadows, buried in the dirt, or masked by the fog, innocence arises. But first we must confront. We are being given this period to really assess what prevents innocence. What needs to be released, whether it be a perception, an action, or a relationship, to come back to greater awareness of this innate innocence. Keep up the great work, everyone. The journey continues. Let's keep doing this. Thank you.
We got another shot in the climb, and I'm out in the mind, and shouting in the climb, and I'm out in the climb, and the Johnny, we climb the back door, go. Sophia, 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 Sophia,